Psycho Dennis Hopper and a runaway bus in Speed. John Lovitz joins Billy Crystal and Jack Palance at home on the range in City Slickers 2. And a young prince must battle his evil uncle to become the Lion King.
There's enough C4 on this thing to put a hole in the world.
Okay, all right, just stay calm. What else?
3 triggers, one on the axle I can't really see, a cellular remote, and a timer running off a wristwatch.
Watch? What kind of watch?
Keanu Reeves engages in a citywide duel with a mad bomber who has rigged a bus in Speed, one of the new movies we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert. We'll also look at the new Disney animated feature, The Lion King, review Billy Crystal in City Slickers 2, and talk to Spike Lee and Eddie Murphy. I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune. Our first film is Speed, and this, quite simply, is an action picture that really delivers, and it also marks, I think, Keanu Reeves as an action star with a whole lot of charisma. In fact, with some of the same kind of appeal that Bruce Willis had in the first Die Hard picture. In Speed, the first tense sequence involves Reeves and his cop partner, Jeff Daniels, trying to deal with madman Dennis Hopper, who, as part of an extortion plot, has rigged a bomb on an elevator full of people.
All right, pop quiz. Airport, gunman with one hostage. He's using her for cover. He's almost to a plane. You're 100 feet away. Jack.
Shoot the hostage.
What?
Take her out of the equation. Go for the good wound and you can't get to the plane with her.
As soon as the boys handle that mess, they get another.
When I find you.
Pop quiz, hotshot. There's a bomb on a bus. Once the bus goes 50 miles an hour, the bomb is armed. If it drops below 50, it blows up. What do?
Reeves winds up on the bus, of course, and needs the help steering the vehicle from, naturally, the prettiest woman on board. There isn't a whole lot of competition. It's Sandra Bullock.
Stay on or get up!
Just hold on!
You want more action? Well, this mano a mano even extends to a speeding subway car.
Hey, Jack, is that you? He's so persistent, he always gets his man.
All of the sequences work. Reeves is absolutely compelling as Speed delivers a whole lot more action in more different locations than you might expect. And that's ultimately what audiences want in a movie like this, for the filmmakers to do more than they expected. Give us more than one storyline. And director Jan de Bont, who actually photographed Die Hard, really delivers with this, his first feature film. Speed works.
Boy, it sure does. This movie was fun.
Yes.
This is what I call a bruised forearm movie, because you grab the arm of the person sitting next to you in scenes like the one where the bus is going to have to try to jump that 50-foot gap. I knew it wasn't possible in real life, but I didn't care. I thought this movie was really superb in the way it put together these very, like how can, in Los Angeles, you have a bus that can't go less than 50 miles an hour with the bad traffic out there? And how do they manage to keep moving more than 50 miles an hour? That in itself
well, there are also some
terrific.
Marvelous stunt pieces when he has to try and get at
the bus.
All of that stuff really works, and that could have, they could have shortchanged us in a whole lot of different ways. He's really, we feel that he's really down there, and a lot of work is done. And also, simple things like grabbing people out of small places and freeing them up. It's all done very, very well.
When you think, my God, this movie can't do anything more, then they go down to the subway train, and you have a whole other movie right down there.
It's a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Okay, next movie, and our next movie is The Endless Summer 2, which is not so much a sequel to the original documentary from the mid-1960s as a repeat of the very same film. Once again, the heroes embark on a round-the-world odyssey in search of the perfect wave, and once again, their single-minded journey is accompanied by a single-minded narration in which the greatest goal in life, in fact, perhaps the only goal in life, is to surf endlessly. The movie has a lot of surfing footage in it, some of it very good, but it doesn't make any effort to explain surfing to the unconverted. Every time there's a good wave or a good ride, the surfers are stoked. They're stoked a lot in this movie. In between, they have little adventures like a crash landing or nearly being attacked by lions, but nothing really matters except for the next wave and, of course, staying stoked. After a while, it gets a little monotonous, especially since the film bypasses any attempt to really tell us anything about surfing, its lore, its technique, or its growth as a sport. Instead, it's just a lot of pretty pictures and the kind of running narration you get on a home movie, which is basically what this is.
I had the same reaction. And actually, if you think about it, the shots of them going through the pipeline effect of the cresting wave, they're all the same after a while. We don't understand what makes one guy better than another, what techniques they may have developed. There's no information for us. I learned more just by sheer coincidence. Last night I was watching ESPN and they had a surfing competition. Some of the top surfers are all Australian. Now, why is that? I mean, little facts like that, they don't even give us a drop of it.
Yeah, well, okay. Coming up next, The Lion King, the latest Disney animated feature.
Hey, Uncle Scar, when I'm king, what'll that make you?
A monkey's uncle.
You're so weird.
You have no idea.
I'm the one true king. Remember who you are.
A young lion takes his place in the natural order of jungle life in The Lion King, the latest feature-length Disney animated film. And while it's not in the same class as Beauty and the Beast or The Little Mermaid or Aladdin, it's still pretty entertaining with a great-looking and sounding opening number which establishes the story. Circle of life as we follow transference of power in the jungle. That little lion cub can't wait to become king as he tells his young cub girlfriend.
Everybody look left, everybody look right. Everywhere you look, I'm standing spotlight.
Naturally, there is a threat to his ascendancy in the form of 3 hyenas and an evil uncle named Scar, who is jealous of his brother's little cub.
Oh, Scar, it's just you.
Oh, you were afraid it was somebody important.
Yeah, you don't like Mufasa.
Yeah.
I see.
Now that's power.
Tell me about it. I just hear that name and I shudder.
Mufasa.
Ooh. Do it again.
Mufasa. Mufasa, Mufasa, Mufasa.
One of the best-looking sequences in the movie is the wildebeest stampede as the little cub has been lured by his uncle into an ambush.
I'll go back to home. That's what I'll do. I'll go back to home.
The little cub loses his father. Hey, it wouldn't be a Disney animated feature without parental death, would it? And the cub is cheered up by a couple of funny friends, a warthog and a meerkat, whatever that is.
It's our problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata?
Yeah, it's our motto.
What's the motto?
Nothing. What's the matter with you?
His friends are cute enough. I guess what I found lacking in the film was any excitement in that lion cub. He's as dull as Aladdin himself, and I wish there had been a scene in the picture showing more of the life in the jungle after the father dies and that bad lion Scar takes over with the hyenas for a while. Only a couple of songs are memorable, but of course I'm comparing now The Lion King to some of the best animated features ever made. Judged on its own, I think it's a good film, not a great one.
I'm pretty much in the same ballpark with you. I think that the excitement that you don't feel in The Lion Cub is there in Scar. And of course his voice is done by Jeremy Irons.
Yes.
And it's a real effective character. It's kind of too bad that the villain is the most memorable character in the movie.
Yeah.
One thing I thought was interesting is this movie is a little more serious. than the other recent Disney animated films. It's not just a musical comedy. I mean, the theme of this little cub who thinks that he's responsible for his father's death, and then he goes into exile for so long in the hinterlands, is really a fairly sober one and a somber one.
Yeah, except that I think that the other stories, the Beauty and Beast story had some very serious things into it, and Little Mermaid had serious things.
Well, they were
as well.
better films.
They're better films. Okay, when we come back, Billy Crystal is back on the range in City Slickers 2.
The guys from the city start a stampede in City Slickers 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold, where once again they find themselves in cowboy country. This time they're looking for a lost gold mine they think they can find with a treasure map left behind by Curly, their trail boss at the Dude Ranch in the last movie. Curly is dead, but his twin brother, also played by Jack Palance, and how's that for a gimmick to get Jack Palance back in the movie when he was a big hit and they unfortunately killed his character off? He's alive, and he's hot on the trail of the gold.
Curly was wrong. There are two things. Whatever the hell this is, and gold.
Just like in the original movie, the City Slickers start out completely incapable of surviving in the real world of the West, and then they adapt to conditions on the range through the liberal application of nonstop one-liners. Crystal and Palance are joined here by Daniel Stern and John Lovitz, who plays Crystal's younger brother.
All right. Now, the sun sets in the east, right?
No, the sun sets in the west.
That's if you're in the east, but we are way out west now, so we are past where the sun sets.
You can't be past where the sun sets. And if you think you can, then I am directly south of an idiot.
The original City Slickers was a very funny movie because somehow, in spite of all its improbable adventures, it seemed based on human nature. This sequel seems based more on sitcoms. Billy Crystal has said that he didn't want to make a City Slickers sequel until he was convinced he had the right screenplay. I think he was too easily convinced.
Absolutely, and I don't think he's particularly funny in this picture. I think Jack Palance is the only one who, you know, he has that great look, that craggy face against that beautiful sky, and his voice is great, but that's all there is to the picture. And I have the story that they were looking for, and I just thought of it while you were talking.
Oh, good for you.
And here's what they should have done. Obviously, if they're going to have Curly's brother come back, he's the most interesting character, have Curly come into their world. Right? Why go back out to the Old West and do the same movie over again? Why not have Curly come into their New York City world? It could have been absolutely hilarious.
Kind of, yeah, I think it's been done though. Crocodile Dundee.
All right, but it would have been a flip. It wouldn't have been the same movie. All they did was make the same movie over again.
I'm not sure that you actually have the answer.
Oh, that's
Gene.
because I came up with it, and you don't. You didn't come up with it.
I'm glad I didn't. Coming up next, an interview with Eddie Murphy as we try to answer the mystery of what's gone wrong with his film career.
He surely was one of Hollywood's top stars. He's been in 11 films, many of them big box office hits. But his career lately appears to be on a downward spiral, leaving me to wonder why such a talented actor has been in so many bad films.
How you doing? Is this the illegal chop shop? One of them illegal places where they chop up cars? Because I got a Buick out here belonging to my wife. I want to get chopped up because they ain't been acting right. You know what I mean?
Eddie Murphy is back this summer as Axel Foley, the wisecracking detective in Beverly Hills Cop 3. And it's the latest in a string of disappointing movies starring Murphy. Remember Harlem Nights?
Are you in charge of the girl?
I am in charge of the girl.
Either you or them got a problem with their arithmetic.
Me and you got to step out back.
And did you see his last film, The Distinguished Gentleman?
You ready for this? I am running for Congress.
For years, I've said on the show that I wanted to see you submit to great directors, that you made your very best films early in your career with the best directors, Walter Hill. Then you went off and directed yourself, not to great success. Can you do it? Can you turn yourself over to other people?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to direct myself again, too. I did it's real weird. It's the more successful you get in show business, the harder it is to get a great director, you know, because you come with all this baggage. You come with all this, you know, you're this thing now, you know, and most big directors, they're these things too. They're stars too, so you got a bunch of stars and putting together a big package. I'm involved with the development of the project, and Most big directors develop their own projects, and plus I've been in an exclusive situation at Paramount, so it's always been, okay, my project is ready to be done. Who's available? You know, that's the way it's always been with me. But I would love to work with Steven Spielberg, or Spike, or Martin Scorsese. I'd love to work with directors like that.
Well, he's not lying. And, you know, I can't speak for Marty or Steven, but when we work, you know, we want the actors there. And this is not just talking about Eddie, but any big star. You know, they got an entourage. You know, they got their trainer, their cook, their hanger-ons. They got this guy, they got their cousin Louie, their nephew Vinny. And it's hard enough to make a movie.
But it is his entourage and hangers-on that are the big knocks on Eddie Murphy.
People are going to ask me what it's like to meet you. I know when I get back to Chicago. And I'm going to say he's absolutely nice.
But we've
relaxed. I know that. Absolutely nice, low-key. And yet you have this image, I don't know what, you know, you get this stuff about the bodyguards.
The wild man, bodyguards. Fame isolates you and it can make you get a lot really early. You can go crazy. And all I did was hang out with all my high school buddies for 10 years and have fun, you know. We had good, clean fun. And those days are, you know, past me now. But if you're an outsider, you know, and, who are those guys having all that fun over there? You know, that's what, oh, he walks in with all these guys. It's me and my buddies hanging. You know, I was a loner in Hollywood, man. You know, one generation back, my family's in the housing projects.
I think people would pay to see you just sit and talk like we're talking now and maybe enjoy it more than some of the pictures you've made.
Well, I hope so, because I'm going to do my stand-up in about 2.5, 3 years to go do my stand-up again, so I hope they come out and see it. You can get to hear me just stand up and talk, you know, and be different from last time. Because I want to wait like 10 years, but 3 years to be 10 years since I did it. So, and when I do it again, I want it to be music and comedy and my whole show. So I hope they do want to come out and just hear me talk.
Well, I look forward to that stand-up comedy film. But what do you think, Roger, of my idea that he should work with better directors? He's using John Landis as a crutch in Beverly Hills Cop 3, and it doesn't work.
Obviously, the top stars that work with the top directors remain top stars. Look at Harrison Ford, for example, who has consistently worked with the very best directors. Robert Redford is another example.
Right.
And I think that, oddly enough, in your interviews, both Spike Lee and Eddie Murphy put their finger on the same problem, which is Eddie is such a big star that major directors don't want to work with him and everybody that comes along with him. And I think basically he's going to have to cut loose and just turn up on the set all by himself one day and say, I came to work, let's get down to business.
Or maybe even take a supporting role, as some of the big Nicholson's played supporting roles with good directors. Take a shot that way.
I met him for the first time on the set of 48 Hours, which is one of his earliest hits. And he was just Eddie Murphy, somebody who wasn't a star yet, and he was there to work, and he was working real hard, and look how that paid off.
You're right. When we come back, our video pick of the week featuring an all-star cast as desperate salesmen at the end of their ropes.
Expert's video pick of the week, brought to you by Orville Redenbacher, the first and last name in popcorn.
My video pick of the week this week is Glengarry Glen Ross, the lacerating 1992 drama about desperate and despairing real estate salesmen, written by David Mamet and directed by James Foley, and containing brilliant performances, one after another, by Al Pacino, Jack Lemmon, Ed Harris, Alec Baldwin, Alan Arkin, and Kevin Spacey, among others. The movie is available on videotape and also on a new Laserdisc edition that includes not only the regular movie soundtrack, but also 2 different full-length, shot-by-shot commentaries. One of them is by Jack Lemmon, who sat and watched the movie and talked out loud about what he saw on the screen.
Yeah, I'm the vice president of Rio Rancho Properties in Furman, Arizona. Yes.
Good move here with the camera. Not a lot of jumping around and not a lot of cutting. A lot of thought of how to use the camera, to move the camera and the people perfectly normally and naturally.
But go ahead.
Are you sure?
Go ahead.
You can listen to the movie soundtrack, or to Lemmon, or to James Foley, the director, and then, this is a nice touch, I haven't seen this before, they also throw in a paperback edition of Mamet's original Pulitzer Prize-winning play. Now, usually with movies, the images take precedence over the words, but with Mamet, you have to listen as carefully as you watch. This is the first time a print version of a play has been included with the video, and I think it's a great idea. Glengarry Glen Ross, our video pick of the week. Now let's take another look at the movies we reviewed this week. Two very enthusiastic thumbs up for the non-stop action and special effects in Speed, an ingenious thriller with a strong performance by Keanu Reeves and an evil intellectual villain by Dennis Hopper. Two thumbs down, though, for The Endless Summer 2 with its endless search for the perfect wave. Two thumbs up for The Lion King, the new Disney animated feature with a storyline a little more serious than usual, and a strong villain in Scar, the evil uncle, with a voice by Jeremy Irons. The movie opens next week in Los Angeles and New York, and wider the following week. And finally, two thumbs down for City Slickers 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold, a silly search for hidden treasure. And so Speed, I think, which is a really terrific thriller.
It is. That's it for this week. Next week we'll be back with more big summer movies, including Wolf, starring Jack Nicholson as a New Yorker who develops a strange hunger for Michelle Pfeiffer.
Good luck, Charm.
Does it work?
Well, today isn't turning out too bad.
And Getting Even with Dad with Macaulay Culkin trying to straighten out his father, Ted Danson. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.